back to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another video, and welcome back to a video where I talk about giving authors a second chance. Today I'm going to sit down and talk about a handful of authors that I would really love to give a second chance to. I'm going to quickly talk about the books that I read from them, and then the books that I'm really hoping to pick up. And then I'm hoping from this video I can maybe do some reading vlogs where I try out these authors and see if they were worth giving a second chance to. So if you are interested in this video, please sit down, grab a snack, grab a drink, and without further ado, let's get into it. Up first, I'm going to start with Shora Williams. The book that I read from her was Wanting Mr. Kane. This was not a book that I enjoyed. I actually DNF'd it. I found the writing to be a little lackluster and kind of superficial, but I also just didn't care for the relationship dynamics of this book, as well as how these characters were treating each other and the people around them. So for that, I just didn't like it, but I do want to try something else from this author. I would like to pick up Bad for Me. This is a motorcycle club romantic suspense with a man who believes that nobody will get past his defenses, but she will, and unfortunately, she's bad for him. So I'm really excited to read this one. I've heard really good things about this author, and I do want to give them a second chance, so hopefully this book is better than the last one, but I'm trying to keep my expectations for all of these authors low so that I'm not severely disappointed. Up next, we have another book that I DNF'd, and this is by Noelle Malone. I picked up Cheeky Royals. This was back before I was reading a lot of Kindle reads, but for some reason, the writing style and the story itself just didn't jive with me. But I do want to try another one of her Royals romances. So I would love to pick up Royal Playboy. This is not in the same world or part of the same series, so I feel like this might work better for me. This is about the prodigal son, the black sheep of the family. He's a playboy. And of course, women come easy to him except for the princess that he did not plan for. So I'm really excited. This sounds like it's going to be an angsty romance, and hopefully I enjoy it. I've been looking for more books that are set in contemporary worlds that deal with like princes and princesses and things like that. So hopefully I like this one. Up next, we have Lizzy James. I tried to read Vibe by this author. I also DNF'd it. Something about the way that this author was writing the relationship between these two characters was just a little strange. I was excited because it was a female-female, like BDSM type of relationship, but it just didn't work for me. I would like to pick up another one of Lizzy James' female-female relationship books in the future, but the ones that she currently has out doesn't seem to appeal to me, and the other one is a part of that same series, so I want to stay clear of that and give this author a best second chance. So I would like to pick up Meant for More. This is a best friends to lovers college sports romance with one night that changes it all. It sounds like it's going to be very angsty and fun, but I do love a good best friends romance. I think they are so much fun, so hopefully this is one that I really love. Up next, the author I want to talk about is Elizabeth O'Rourke. This one is kind of a weird one because the book that I'm choosing to give a second chance to, I've already read some of it, so I know that I enjoyed it, but I want to give this author the best chance to get another good rating. And the book that I read the first time was Summer We Fell. I DNF'd this one. I just didn't jive with the writing style and the characters and the way that the story was being told. I'm not a huge fan of then and now timelines, and this one heavily dealt with that type of storytelling, and it just wasn't working the way that I wanted it to. That being said, I would love to pick back up Waking Olivia by Elizabeth O'Rourke. This is a college sports romance between a coach and a track player. However, Olivia deals with night running or sleep running, where she runs in her sleep due to trauma in her past, and she is not doing very well like on track days because she's exhausting her body every time she does a sleep run, and her coach just doesn't understand why she is putting her very coveted spot in jeopardy, and there's a relationship between the two of them. I would love to go back to it at some point. I was loving what I read at the first time that I picked it up, but for some reason I just didn't finish it. The next author is Amo Jones. I did pick up In Peace Lies Havoc. This was a very interesting, confusing read. I only picked it up because it came in a Mystic and Bell Box subscription, and I just didn't have a great time with it. I think I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. That being said, I've heard great things about this particular author, so I would love to go back and read more of her backlist. So I would like to pick up Sick Fucks. This one sounds like it's going to be dark and depraved and something that is right up my alley. It is a dark revenge romance, trauma-filled, very, very dark on all aspects. Both characters have gone through a very, very tumultuous upbringing and have revenge to dole out, but it's also a friends to lovers romance. So this one sounds like it's going to be absolutely incredible, and I hope that I really love it because I want to love this author. I just didn't love the previous book. Then we have Helena Hunting. I did read Pucked by this author, and it wasn't that I didn't enjoy the book. Overall, I had a good time with it. Just some of the writing choices and the names for some appendages on men was just very off-putting, and I just didn't understand the writing choices that this author made. So for that reason, I just didn't end up loving this book, but I do have another book on my TBR from this author that I would like to give a go, and that is Lie for a Lie. This is another hockey sports romance. romance. He is an NHL player, but he is very known around the world, and it's very hard for him to find somebody that wants him for him. But a woman ends up falling into his lap, literally, on a plane to Alaska, and they spend a month together, but a family emergency brings him back into town with no way to contact his newest fling. Years later, they end up in a chance encounter, and it is a second chance romance between the two of them. It sounds like it's going to be cute. Hopefully I like this one more. I did really like the way that Helena Hunting built her character development and between her characters, so I'm hoping that that one has the same spark, just with a little bit better writing. The next person that I would like to give a second chance to is Ruby Dixon. I did read Ice Planet Barbarians, the first book in the series, and I liked it. It was a fun time. There's nothing too crazy about it, and I think this next book is also going to be another fun time, but I'm hoping I will like this one just a little bit more. And that is Bound to the Battle God. This is about a girl who goes to her neighbor's house to like check in on her, and somehow ends up falling into a portal world, into a totally new fantasy world that she knows nothing about, and she ends up as a slave to the battle god. And basically she is tasked with doling out his exile and getting back to the mortal realm. Obviously they both want the same thing. She wants to go back home, he needs to go, so they help each other out, but they have an intense attraction to each other, and it is a fantasy romance between the two of them. It sounds interesting. Hopefully I will like it, but if not, it'll at least be a fun, fresh time. All right, let's talk about Siobhan Davis. I did read Inseparable by this author, and again, it wasn't terrible, but I think that it was just a little bit too angsty, and I never thought I would say that, but it was a little too angsty for what I wanted from that particular book. So I would love to give her another try, and I would like to try Incognito. This is a college new adult romance, but this little tagline is what really brought me in. It says, after grief and tragedy, she stumbles into a man that breathes life into her, only to find out that it's all a lie. He claims it was for her protection, but when his enemy comes for her, she's all alone. That sounds like it's going to be a fun time. A good romantic suspense, some lies and trickery and deception. It just sounds like it's going to be a good time, so hopefully I like that one. Then we have Willow Winter. I did read Merciless by this author, and it was a mafia romance, but I don't know, it didn't leave a lasting impression. It's not one that I think back on literally ever unless I talk about it in a video, which is very rarely, so I would like to give this author a second chance. The only one that really caught my eye, even though it had a pretty vague synopsis, was A Single Glance. This is a dark BDSM romance. That's really all I know about it. He wants her at the first glance and then goes about getting her. So we'll see if I like this one. I'm keeping my expectations for this one a little bit lower since the synopsis is not giving much, but I am still hoping that I'll love it. Then we have QB Tyler. This is one author that I really, really want to love because I've heard nothing but good things about her books. I did read Bittersweet Surrender, and that one just, it rubbed me the wrong way. I think there was just a little bit too much ongoing cheating throughout the book for me to absolutely fall in love with it. But I think if I find a book that doesn't have those aspects to it, I think I could really, really love it. And for that, I would love to read Love Unexpected. This is definitely a taboo romance, so you know I love my taboo, but not everyone's going to like this. This is a stepdaughter-stepfather romance. Taboo, enemies to lovers. I'm very excited to give it a go. Hopefully I like it. It's also dealing with an interracial couple, which is always great to read about. So crossing my fingers, I like this one more than the last one I read by her. And I do have several more books of her on my shelf, so I'm really hoping that I love it. Then I would like to read another Megan Brandy book. I did read Fake It Till You Break It a long time ago. It was so unforgettable, and I literally don't remember a single thing about it other than it was a sports romance. I think it was maybe hockey. I don't remember. But I would like to read Say You Swear. This is a book that I picked up because Karina had been talking about picking it up and reading it, and then I think Nikki picked it up and wasn't quite in the right mood for it, but she still wants to go back to it, and then Clint picked it up and it's now his favorite book of the year. It is a college sports romance. I believe it's Second Chance, maybe Friends to Lovers. I've heard really good things about it. I do want to read it. I do own it, so I'm really hoping that this one is more memorable than the first book that I read by her, but at this point, my expectations are really high because Clint is obsessed. Then I would like to pick up another Karina Halle book. I did read Black Sunshine by this author, and it was okay. It wasn't bad by any means. It just wasn't everything that everyone had told me that it was going to be, at least in my reading experience. So I would like to pick up another one by her, but I'm going a little bit of a different route. I would love to pick up A Ship of Bones and Teeth. This is a dark fantasy romance that is a Little Mermaid retelling with pirates. Sign me up. That sounds incredible. I have not read actually, that's a lie. I've only read one Little Mermaid retelling that I really loved, but I've heard great things about this book, so my expectations, they're kind of high. I hope I like this one. Second to last, we have Emily McIntyre. I did read Hooked by this author at the beginning of the year, and I did enjoy it. It was a good, you know, easy to read dark romance, but I definitely want to read more by this author. And when we did the interview with her for Season-a-thon, she had mentioned the Sugar Lake series, and that's definitely one that I've had my eye on ever since, so I would love to read the first book in that series. And the first book is called Beneath the Stars. It is an angsty, small town, friends to lovers, second chance romance, and it just sounds like it's going to be so sweet and so cute with just a lot of emotional times with it, and I love a good emotional angsty read. So I have high hopes for this one, and I definitely would like to move on with the rest of the Never After series by Emily McIntyre as well, but I think I want to read this one first. And lastly, the only other author I want to talk about today is Lauren Rowe. I did pick up this author because this book came in a bell box, and that was Swoon, and I liked it. I just didn't really care for the writing style as much and the pacing in this particular book, but I think that I could really enjoy Lauren Rowe's writing moving forward, so I would love to pick up another book. And the one that caught my eye sounds so fun. It is a main character who's a firefighter, and he ends up in the ICU, and after recovery he has to go to a physical therapist, and he falls in love with his physical therapist. It sounds like it's going to be angsty and taboo and forbidden, and I am so excited for it. The cover is stunning, and I've had it actually on my list for a really long time without knowing it was by this author, so hopefully I can pick it up and absolutely fall in love with it. Alrighty friends, those are all of the authors that I would love to give a second chance to. Let me know if you're interested in seeing a vlog where I try to give these authors another go and see what I think of them. I think it could be a good time, and it'll probably be in a couple installments. So if you guys are interested, leave it down in the comments below. If you made it to the end and don't want to comment anything in specific, give a thumbs up emoji. That just sounds like a good time. Or maybe the peace emoji for number 2. For a second chance. But that is the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and of course leave any comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!